Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn and to my last festive video of 2023. Now today I am going to be decorating the doll's house for the festive season, focusing on the dining room because that's kind of where I'm focusing at the moment generally. I still need to finish off a few bits in there, but we're getting there. And I also wanted to do a little quick make, which, to be quite honest, is a spooky idea that I spotted online and that I can't get out of my head. And although I've been trying not to be so spooky this Christmas, I just can't resist it. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm going to start by showing you a couple of things that I have completed since my last festive helping. And it's not massive, it's not lots, but it's just a couple of little things that I've done to add to the display. Now the first thing I did, you may remember me doing the faux tabletops to do my decor. Well, this one is my circular one. It's a circle of cereal board, painted black because the table will eventually be black, and that just fits nicely on there. And all I've done is I've stuck some of this red Hessian ribbon to the circle, and then I've trimmed it off once it's all dried, and then that just gives me the look of a circular table mat or something. And what I did is, because I've done my little pile of glasses, I thought I've got an ice bucket somewhere, and I found it out, and my ice bucket, as you can see from the inside, was very brassy. It didn't go. So I've painted it, and I painted it with a good undercoat of black paint. I would have sprayed it if I'd had any black spray paint, and if when I started doing this it hadn't been snowing. And then I've gone over it with some silver paint, and I've not put the silver paint on perfectly because I want it to look a bit aged and everything. Now the bottle isn't the best, and I may in the future, if I can figure out how, try and make it look a bit more like there's a champagne cork in the top. So maybe a little bit of an air dry clay on there, and then some paint just to tidy it up. But I think for this year, having that on the wine table will actually work pretty well. Now if I just tip that up, you can sort of get an idea. And that is going to be fitted into the one corner of my dining room. The other thing I did is I took some of my wooden pieces. Now I've got some wooden wreath forms that I showed you a few videos ago, and I'd also got these wooden Merry Christmases, and I've put two together. Now the wreath form I've painted black because I've still got that slightly spooky vibe to Christmas. And I did the Merry Christmas. I actually coloured it with an alcohol marker into red, and then I went over it with some of the Stickles glitter glue. Glitter glue is great if you like the sparkly effect, but you don't want glitter going everywhere in your project. Look for glitter glue, and don't try and apply it from the bottle. Put it onto some card and then apply it with a toothpick. And that's what I've done there. And it took a while, but I think that's going to look really, really good. And it's going to make a nice feature on my chimney rest. Because I haven't actually put a mirror or anything up there yet, so I couldn't decorate that, but I thought, well, we'll do this, we'll put that on the wall, and it'll do as a a temporary focus for that area of the scene. So those are the couple of little things that I finished ready to go in to the doll's house. I'm going to go and get my bits together, and then we'll have a look at what else I'm going to be doing. The image that has inspired me with my sort of spooky make is a t-shirt design, and the t-shirt print is "'Tis the season to be creepy," and there is a Christmas tree made out of the rib cage and spine of a human. So off the ribs you've got hanging candy canes and baubles, and the tree is in a little pot. Now, you just know that's going to appeal to me because, well, I did make a piece previously using that part of a skeleton that was decorated with roses. So yeah, it was going to appeal to me. So I'm getting one of these little guys out again. Now this one, for whatever reason, has got a hole in his eye, which is unfortunate, but doesn't matter for this case because his head's got to come off. And I'm going to remove his spine at the pelvis, and I'll have to find another use for his arms and his legs because I don't need either of them. I actually think I need to trim his shoulder blades out a bit, his shoulders out a little bit. We shall have a look at that shortly. So I'm going to go and get a knife because I know these are a bit of a pain to cut, and I'm going to start taking him apart, and then I'm going to look at giving him a more realistic bone colour because he's just too white, and I don't want that. I want it to sort of look a little bit like he might be somebody's actual skeleton. I have been busy preparing the bits for my skeletal rib Christmas tree, and I cut poor Mr. Skeleton down, and now he's just a rib cage and a bit of spine, and I have given him a coat of linen acrylic paint, which has taken, if I fetch his legs off from the side, it has got rid of that shine and it has taken away the unnatural whiteness. So this is actually now ready to use. So I needed a pot to stand it in, and I've done various ways of making pots and containers, and I've gone with some air dry clay. Now this isn't just a lump of air dry clay, there is actually a bottle top in there which has given it its shape, and I covered the outside of the bottle top with clay, and I put a layer of clay inside. I let that dry. I then put some more clay inside, which I've inserted the bottom of my spine into so that it will fit. The bit that is painted black is going to have a layer of faux soil over it. That's going to be done with some tea leaves. Well, tea dust. What you often get if you buy a box of tea bags is you get a lot of dust in the box. I collect that and I use it as a soil substitute. So I'll cover this with glue, cover it with the tea dust, and then I'll put a sealing coat either of just PVA glue or possibly Mod Podge. It depends what's handiest at the time. To give my pot a sort of metallic effect, I painted it black and then I've gone over it roughly with my metallic silver. Now this is a way that I find of getting a kind of aged metal look without too many layers of paint, because you need to put an undercoat under the metallic paint anyway, And then if you're going to put aging over the top, that's a third coat. I've done it in 2, so I think that's going to work. And yes, I've got a bit of silver over onto what will be my soil. I don't care. I can cover that up at the next step. Now, the other thing I've been working on is I'm going to need some baubles to go on my tree. And I bought a string of these. They're those beads that you put onto Christmas trees. They've been very popular at various times as garlands. And I spotted these white ones this year and I thought that would be absolutely perfect for something I want to do, where I want a pile of snowballs, and saves me trying to make nice round balls of air dry clay. So I've cut myself off a piece of that and I've coloured some of them with an alcohol marker. Now this is supposed to be a deep red alcohol marker, and as you can see, it's not the deepest of colours. It does, however, make a great undercoat for some glitter glue. And these at the end, and I'm being very careful with them because they are still wet, have been coated in the Stickles glitter glue. And when I refer to Stickles glitter glue, this is what I'm talking about. The little bottles of very oily glittered glue. Do not mistake it for the stuff that you'll find sold for children's use. This is far superior. I've been using them for years and I love them. And these are years old and they haven't dried out, which is absolutely superb. But this is Xmas Red, so very appropriate. And as you can see, I've done the first 3. I'm going to do some more, but I will show you what I'm going to do with those once this is all dry. Actually, probably once they're all dry, I will cut them off and then do the others and start work on these first 3. My next step is to come up with something to use as a tree topper, because obviously I need something on the top of there, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to use yet. The image that I used as my inspiration hadn't really got anything on there, not a proper tree topper, and I think it needs something just to finish it off. So I'm going to put these back to dry and go and have a look and see what I can come up with as a topper for my spine. I don't know. I have these ideas for spooky things and then I think, what on earth am I doing? And I'm sure, to be fair, some of you are wondering the same. The skeletal tree is now in its pot, and I do like how it looks. I painted a metal charm, the jewellery charm, so it's got a bit of an odd back, but that doesn't matter. I painted that with some of my red glitter glue, and I've stuck that to the top of the tree. Now I've actually attached this using some UV resin because I happen to know that the plastic that the skeletons are made of is a bit difficult to stick. So because of that, and with that being metal, I decided to have no more to do, and I used some resin, and that has attached it quite well. And I'm currently working on the baubles that are going to hang off of the ribs. Now I've made extra, and what I've done is I've done what I did for my Christmas table in my first Christmas video of the season. And this is, I've took the beads and I've stuck another bead on top, and I've put them into a little square blister pack that I cut down to make it look like a glass dish, and then those can make an ornament in themselves. And I thought that was quite a nice extra little piece that I've made to go in the room. But For the actual baubles, I'm going to show you what I've done. And what I did is I cut my beads from the chain that they originally came in. I cut them down once all the glitter glue had dried. Now I've still got a little bit of a bobble, which is where the glue has soaked into the string and I couldn't get it really close. You possibly could. I can possibly still trim a little bit more off this one if I just look at that. Yeah, I can, but I could trim and trim and trim all day. I want to get this project done. So I've got that. And what I've also got is I've got some gold seed beads. These are Class's embroidery beads. They're the tiny little beads. And all that I do is I chuck a few into the lid, and then I'm going to get a little bit of my usual glue on a cocktail stick, and I'm going to put the glue approximately where my string came through, because that's generally the worst part of the piece. Now, using a pair of tweezers, I'm going to pick up one of those little beads and I'm going to pop it into place in all of that glue. Now the glue I use dries clear, so I don't need to worry about clearing it up. And then I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry, because I don't want it moving. So I will just move that out of the way and I will show you what comes next. What comes next is a piece of fine jewellery wire, whatever size you want, but you want it to be fairly thin. And this is about a bit over an inch long. I've just cut them fairly randomly. And then I dip the end into some UV resin and set it with my little light. And what that's done is it's given me a really nice secure fixing for the bauble. Now when I come to actually put these on, I'm going to bend it over using my pliers. I will just something like that, because I want a bit to go through the ribs, and I could trim it off, or I could leave it like that. It looks a bit like an earring at the moment. And what I will probably do is I will probably, once I've got it in place, put a little bit of resin on the loop bit, just so that it doesn't move. If I actually try that now, putting this through, I possibly need to make it a bit shorter, but that's not a problem. You can see the kind of look that we're going to be going for. So once I've got the 5 that I'm going to put on, I will prepare them and get them put onto my ribs, and then we will have a spooky tree to go into the doll's house. Just before I put him into the doll's house, here is the decorated alternative spooky tree. Now obviously if you were a bit more skilled with the clay than I am, you could make little organs to hang off the rib cage. You could also change out the skull for something like a bow. I've got one of my wooden bows that I've covered in the same glitter, and as you can see, if I put that at the top, that wouldn't look bad at all. It's just, as I say, it's just a wooden bow that I covered in glitter, and yeah, now I'm looking at it, that could work quite nicely. I'd need to put it the wrong way around to work on my spine, but it would have worked quite nicely. So there he is, my little rib Christmas tree. And the sticking everything with resin has all but worked. I just realised that one isn't staying in place, so I'm going to go and put a bit more resin to hold him in place, and then it'll go into the doll's house. Now, inside. Obviously, it's the dining room. I focused on the dining room because, well, I explained that earlier in the year. I wanted a reception room that I could decorate for the seasons, and that's what I've done after a fashion. It's very red because obviously my dining room is red, and I've run with the red this year, rightly or wrongly. Might change it for next year, I don't know, it depends on my mood. Now you'll notice a lot of things that you will have seen are making an appearance in here, from the Christmas tree at the back there, the repainted ice bucket in that corner, and of course the most recent addition, my little skeletal tree alternative. I'm liking it. I'm liking the bits that I've done. Now, I haven't laid the Christmas table yet. I do have a roast turkey platter and various vegetable dishes and things that are intended for a Christmas table. I'm not sure they're quite right for this Christmas table, but they're there if I decide to do that. What I have done is I have made a temporary tablecloth out of some very festive tissue paper. This actually came wrapped around an order that I made fairly recently, and I was going to throw it in the bin, and then I thought, ooh, that would make a wonderful tablecloth, and that's what's happened. Obviously, health and other issues have stopped me doing as much as I wanted to, but I'm kind of pleased. Now, I will take the camera off the tripod in a minute and actually put it into the room so you can actually see a bit more, but I think you get the idea of at least of what I was aiming to do, which is to make these two decorative areas either side of the fireplace and then decorate the fireplace. And obviously I've got my little Merry Christmas wall art because I haven't finished the actual artwork for this room. There will be artwork, there'll be a lot more details, and hopefully in the new year I will get to some of those, and maybe even get back to one of the other rooms that I've started making prep on. But yeah, I am kind of liking it, even if it is incredibly red. Now, excuse me, because this bit is going to be more wobbly, because I'm going in. You can see the Christmas tree and my tree skirt at the back there. I've actually moved that cabinet round just for the festive season, and then I've got my gingerbread house on the little sleigh that I purchased, which I think looks great. I am liking this fireplace. It gives me lots of room for decorating. I've put 3 pieces on there that are not unsubstantial, and I've got lots of room for more, so I could do a lot more in the future. Obviously, nice little Merry Christmas there. And then coming along on here, we've got current make, my little Nomi, and then I've got my Christmas cake and my champagne pyramid. I'm not sure what, it's not a proper champagne fountain because I haven't actually figured out how to get the resin to drip while I'm doing it, and then I'll just spin you round and you can see a bit better the other side. as I say, still lots of room for improvement, for more, but we're getting there. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. It all helps my channel to grow. And consider ringing the notification bell. And then you've got the best chance of finding out when I upload another video. There's going to be one more video this year, which I think I mentioned earlier, which of course is going to be the 1/48 scale advent calendar video. That'll be coming after Christmas, when the social media blackout on the advent calendar is over. And apart from that, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next year.